So Ali Shah, Ali is also new to the drawing room, and we were really drawn to this piece and saw it as an installation, and especially what he had to say about it in his submission form, much of which is on this wall tag. It also deals, like so many of the pieces, with conflict in a broader sense, and I'm going to let him take it from here and tell you more about his piece. Thank you, Ali, for being
Thank you.
here.
Hi, thank you, Renee, and I am terrible with names. And Courtney. Sorry. Yeah, conflict. So, I mean, the title pretty much gives it away, what it's sort of about. I had avoided the news since roughly 2020 election and the lockdown and everything, but I moved back up to the Bay Area. I grew up here, well, since the age of 6, almost 7. I came from two of those countries that are always in the news having some kind of conflict over the last 40 plus years. But then when I go visit my family, not immediate family, but mom, siblings, and they're in the Bay Area too, then they have the news on all the time if they're not watching something else. And so I would get a little bit of it in, but that wasn't like my intention making it. I didn't really have an initial intention. I just started. I'm drawn to maps, cartography, and you see it's behind it. It's a grid paper, the background. And so I just thought, what can I do with this? I had this recycled fabrics, this piece, and it stretched out further. I guess I'm kind of going with the process, and I'm going to go with the meaning. And the panel was exactly, I didn't intend it to be exactly 30 inches. It just ended up by chance that was the maximum. That was the maximum for this show too, so it kind of worked out. And I thought, this is much bigger. I'm just going to have to cut it. And I thought, what if maybe I'll just warp it a bit, see what happens. And then I did that. And then I didn't know where it was going, but I had this wire, and I thought, let me see if I can do anything with that wire, this part here. And then when I put it there, and I warped the left side, then I just immediately, this land conflict, trench warfare, suddenly it just came to me. I'm like, because it had been on my mind too, it's before the major conflict that's going on over the last 3 months. It was a little bit before. I did add to it since then. And I just took it from there. It went through many different stages. I added a lot to it, and then I took away a lot. Because at one point when I got stuck into this conflict and warfare kind of theme, it became a little too on the nose with toy soldiers and such, because I am drawn to dioramas. I love dioramas. And I thought that's just way too on the nose. And then I just started taking it away and thought I took pieces away, and I thought, no, let me just go in a completely different direction. But then, as I added other pieces, it drew me back into this idea of conflict between two sides. And so, whatever these pieces that are raised, that came with so when I moved into my new home, just not long ago, I ordered many things for the new home, and it comes with these, what do you call them? When it's the plastic thing, sorry?
Twist ties?
Twist ties, there you go. So I had so many of those laying around, and I thought, and when I pull it, I go, okay, I can do something with this, but you notice there's like a difference between the two sides. The twist side's like, on this side it's just, looks like almost nothing is growing on one side versus the other. But I was trying to, it was like a tough balance between having it not be too obvious or too on the nose, but at the same time try to represent something somewhat striking. So I was constantly like, trying to balance. And in the end, this is what I came up with, and with the current conflict, I felt like, this represented sort of the way I felt about displacement as someone who, at a very young age, I came to the U.S., but something that has stuck with me over, because I only found out about it maybe last year or the year before. My mom, she's still around, and she said something to the effect of, my life was over when I left our home country at age 42 and coming here. 'Cause I've had sort of the opposite immigrant story. It wasn't like we came here for a better life. We came here to escape something like this. That was a direct result of like a US proxy war. So that's like stuck in my mind, her saying that. And the concept of being torn away from your home. And even to this day, although I've grown up in the Bay Area most of my life, although I've left to other places for long periods, I don't exactly, I don't, for myself personally, I could say this is like my home or wherever, or where my family is currently, my mom and siblings, but if they're gone, I don't think I would consider that my home. So I don't know personally what exactly my home is, just because I've gone everywhere. And the older I get, I've tried to stay here, but I said if my family's not around, I'm not sure there's much of a reason for me to be in the Bay Area, because I was also gone from the Bay Area for a long time. And coming back to it, it feels very different than the way it was in the 90s and 2000s. So it's just this shifting idea of home, and I'm not sure if I will ever find a place that will feel like that for me to stay long term, but the root of it is like some kind of conflict that we had to leave. And So any questions? Yes?
Well, we mentioned this conflict, like one side versus the other, separated by this ridge in between. I just had a thought that, have you tried putting it flat and see how that feels? Because now it's
Well, initially that's what I did, and I thought, okay, this is fine. I'm just gonna lay it flat. I'm just gonna like cut it, and then I thought, oh, I don't know. Let me see if I do this. And then when I did that, it just seemed much more interesting to me than just laying it flat. So in general, when I work on something, I don't have an idea ahead of time. It's more of a process, and then there's a point after laying like 2 or 3 pieces down that I kind of go, okay, I think it's taking me in this direction. Yes.
Sure. So what country were you at when
I was born in Afghanistan. My mom's from Iran, my dad's from Afghanistan, and so we're one of the first families, if not the first family, like in Fremont, where there ended up being a big community there, long time ago.
And then
Yeah,
you
but
moved away from the Bay Area?
oh, I mean, yeah, for 20 years between LA, New York, and just overseas in East Asia, and also like someplace in the Middle East. I moved around a lot, and now I've been back in the Bay Area for the past 2 years, and I don't have a plan to leave. I'm trying to make the Bay Area home again. Yeah.
None of the other places you hopped around felt like home?
What about them? Do
I said there was
Oh,
other
they always felt like somewhere that, they always felt like a stepping stone for me. Like not somewhere I would be, well, some of them just because I don't think I could stay there long term anyway, even if I wanted to. I mean, like other countries. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you so much.